The minute Gia slid into the driver's seat, joy wrapped around her shoulders like sunlight through church windows. 2 whole days off. No alarm screaming at 3:45 in the morning. No chef jacket. No, can you stay a little longer? Did you make sure you cleaned up your station? None of that. Just freedom. The sun was out showing off. Warm gold pouring across the dashboard while the breeze rolled through the cracked sunroof. Somewhere in the back of her mind, Bob Marley was starting to hum. Sun is shining, the weather is sweet. Matter of fact, start the playlist first. The speakers crackled alive as the first song shuffled up like it understood the assignment perfectly. Pure Water by Mustard Amigos. Yeah, that was the one. The cold gliding, windows down, don't talk to me, I'm vibing type beat. Gia eased onto the road with one hand on the wheel and 1,000 thoughts bouncing around her head like loose change in a dryer. Since it was still daylight, the possibilities felt wide open. Should she stop and grab something to eat? Not family food either. Not what everybody else want food. No, food for her. The kind you buy knowing full well you're not sharing a single fry. The kind you plate nicely in your room while binge watching all the Netflix shows you missed before the borrowed password disappears in 2 months. Hell, times have been hard, so she was treating that shared account like a farewell tour. Normally, Gia was a giver, always thinking about somebody else first, always making sure everybody else ate before she sat down herself. But today, today belonged to her. What did she want to drink? Maybe a daiquiri? Maybe a margarita? Maybe a pina colada? Hell, maybe all 3. Then she laughed to herself because she already knew good and damn well she wasn't really a drinker like that. 2 sips in and she'll be standing in somebody's bathroom line questioning every financial decision she ever made. You know, drinking really is an expensive rental service. You paid $20 just to pee it out and 30 minutes later? Could have stayed home, flushed your own toilet, put $20 in your pocket, kept your dignity. Oh well, to each his own. Traffic rolled around her in waves while random thoughts kept crashing into each other inside of her head. Her son, Elijah, he was off today. Did he clean anything? Did he wash the dishes? Did he take out the trash? Or is my kitchen sitting there looking like a raccoon-hosted brunch? I guess I'll find out soon enough. Gia switched into the left lane smooth as butter until suddenly some car came flying up behind her like they thought the expressway was part of the Fast and Furious franchise. Now, mind you, she wasn't even in the fast lane. So why was this fool practically sitting in her trunk? Get off my ass, she muttered, gripping the wheel tighter. Y'all drive like merging properly is a personal attack. People treated the highway like a wrestling match. No patience, no common sense, just vibes and bad decisions. The car zipped around her aggressively. Gia squinted at the license plate. MRY 2118. Then immediately she shook her head. See, maybe I shouldn't be memorizing people plates like Batman with road rage. Just then, another Tesla floated past looking like a stainless steel refrigerator on roller skates. I'm sorry, these things still look like rolling ice machines to me. Like somebody unplugged a smart fridge and slapped tires on it. And somehow, that thought alone had her laughing all the way through to the next green light. The playlist kept shape-shifting like it had its own personality. One minute, Gia was cruising soft and unbothered. Next minute, the speakers turned the car into a whole motivational seminar with bass. Kendrick popped up first. Squabble up. Immediately, Gia sat up straighter. See, Kendrick makes you feel like you either supposed to fight corruption, write poetry, or pay a bill you forgot about. Ain't no in between. The beat knocked through the speakers while she nodded her head at the red light like she personally had enemies to overcome before dinner. Then boom, What You Know About Me by Glorilla and Sexy Red. They crashed through loud, reckless, and proud like cousins arriving at the cookout carrying tequila and bad influence. Gia cackled. Now, why this song got me feeling like I need long pink nails in an argument? The windows came down a little farther. Ain't nobody around her safe from the temporary confidence boost music gives you. Suddenly, she was driving like the main character in a low-budget music video with excellent lighting. Then the playlist took a hard left turn. Wu-Tang. Because every good playlist needs at least one moment where you feel like you're walking through New York in slow motion with a hoodie on despite the weather being 78 degrees. Ain't nothing to mess with, Gia said out loud and dramatically to herself in the car while merging lanes. The next song floated in softer, Astro Thunder by Travis Scott. Now the whole mood changed. The sunlight pouring through the windshield suddenly looked cinematic. Buildings blurred together, traffic slowed into background scenery. Gia leaned back against the seat, feeling that strange little floating sensation certain songs give you. Like your problems still exist, but they're waiting politely outside the car until the track is over. Then another one. Here comes DJ Khaled, bursting through the speakers like an overly excited motivational speaker nobody invited. For free, featuring Drake. Immediately, Gia rolled her eyes. Ain't no way Drake done snuck into another playlist. Ugh. But she let it play anyway because Drake got a nasty habit of sliding into your shuffle like a toxic ex that somehow still has your Wi-Fi password. And just when she thought the playlist was done exposing her business, Nokia, also Drake. Gia stared at the dashboard in disbelief. Who's calling my phone? Because I'm not speaking today. She picked up her ice drink, took a slow sip, and kept driving while the city moved around her in layers of sunlight and impatience. For the first time all week, nobody needed anything from her. And baby, that silence felt expensive. A few exits later, Gia ran headfirst into one of her greatest enemies, merge lane idiots. Now see, Gia believed in many things. Season your food, mind your business, and if you got half a mile of open merge lane, use it like God intended. But apparently, half the city woke up choosing chaos. Cars kept flying down the right side merge lane all the way to the very front, like they were competing for pole position at NASCAR. Meanwhile, there was enough open space between vehicles to fit Noah's Ark, a prayer circle, and Jesus headed to the Last Supper between them. Nobody wanted the open gaps. Nobody. They just kept speeding forward, determined to cut in at the very last second like the highway was handing out awards for dramatic entrances. Damn. Gia watched one silver SUV barrel toward the end of the lane with absolute confidence. Oh, you one of them, she muttered. The SUV crept closer. 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 Now suddenly they wanted over. The driver glanced toward her lane with a hopeful little, please let me in face before ignoring all common sense for the straight fools in front of her. Gia stared back in disbelief. Baby, you had space back there. The SUV kept inching. You had enough room to rethink your entire lifestyle. More inching. You could have got over, found inner peace, called your auntie, updated your voter registration, and researched affordable health care insurance in the amount of time you had to merge. The car moved even closer. Absolutely not. Now, Gia wasn't about road rage. She wasn't crazy. She kept both hands on the wheel, kept driving normal. But her windows were down, which meant the universe accidentally received her commentary in surround sound. Bitch, that's crazy. All the way crazy. The wind carried it beautifully, too, like a hymn. The SUV finally squeezed behind somebody else while she shook her head in disgust. Folks drive like every day was Talladega Nights. If you ain't first, you're last, head ass. Meanwhile, everybody else just trying to get home alive and maybe stop for mozzarella sticks. The crazy part was folks always acted offended after creating the problem themselves, like somehow you were rude for not rewarding their bad decisions. Gia hit the gas slightly as the playlist shuffled again, sunlight flashing across her face while the city buzzed around her in impatience and poor lane etiquette. 2 days off had officially begun. The playlist must have sensed her getting too peaceful, because suddenly the speaker softened into grown folk heartbreak music. First came Cam. Smooth, dangerous, candlelit behavior. Then Share My Life floated through the car like somebody opened a bottle of expensive emotions. G immediately narrowed her eyes. Now hold on. Because here came another song right behind it talking about betrayal, loneliness, heartbreak, somebody leaving, somebody crying in the rain, somebody staring out the window holding a glass of wine they can't afford. And that's when the thought hit her. Sir, she tapped the steering wheel thoughtfully. I think you the problem in these relationships. Now, Gia loved good R&B down to her spirit, loved it bad. But after a while, she started noticing a pattern with some of these artists. Every album, every song, every verse, somebody done them wrong. Again and again and again. At a certain point, accountability got to walk into the studio, too. Ain't nobody ever treat you right? Gia said to the dashboard suspiciously. Not near one person in 47 songs treated you right? The song kept playing dramatically in the background while she continued her investigation. Maybe you emotionally exhausted. Maybe you over-communicate. Maybe you be starting arguments at 1:13 in the morning asking questions nobody's prepared for. The bass rolled softly underneath her theories. Maybe people was happy before they met you, and now they somewhere eating soup in silence trying to recover from you. She nodded slowly to herself like she had cracked an emotional FBI case. See, this is why therapy important. Now, don't get her wrong. The music sounded good. Like drive slow as sunset while thinking about old decisions good. But after 2 heartbreak songs back to back, Gia started feeling like she accidentally climbed inside somebody's unresolved trauma. We gonna let this ride for another 30 seconds, she said out loud. Then we switch into something with confidence and tax-paying energy. Gia slowed down at the light downtown, staring up at another one of them brand new luxury apartment buildings rising into the sky like somebody stacked glowing red storage containers on top of each other and charged $3,000 for urban elegance. Nothing but glass. Glass everywhere. Tiny little windows. Tiny little balconies. Tiny little plants fighting for survival in decorative concrete pots. Now, don't get her wrong. She absolutely wanted luxury. Wanted the soft towels. Wanted the waterfall shower. Wanted the stainless steel appliances that beep politely instead of sounding like they fighting demons every time you press a button. But every time she passed one of them buildings, she had the same question. Ain't y'all hot? Because the entire outside was reflective glass. The sun was beating against them windows like it owed child support. Gia squinted upwardly suspiciously. Your electric bill got to look like a car payment. Because there's no way all that sunlight wasn't turning them apartments to expensive easy-bake ovens by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I can be hot for free where I'm at, she muttered. I'm not paying $1,800 a month to slow roast beside the quartz countertop. Still, if people loved it, she loved it for them. Everybody deserved a nice place to live. You work hard, you deserve your little luxury air fryer apartment. Did you drink your water today? Take your vitamins? I'm proud of you. The light turned green. Gia rolled forward slowly. Still people watching through the city like it was a live theater. Then she passed Pop Steaks. The place was packed. White folks sitting around laughing, talking, eating cheesesteaks like they had discovered buried treasure. She blinked. Now hold on. When Pops become Coachella? Every table full, people standing around, conversations floating everywhere. Summer had officially arrived because Philadelphia folks love 2 things. Warm weather and gathering in clusters around food like seagulls with opinions. Gia laughed to herself as she rolled past the crowd. Then she spotted her. Every summer got one. Miss Flojo herself, standing on the corner in denim shorts so short they looked sprayed on by prayer and determination. Them shorts was fighting for dear life. Fabric hanging on by faith alone. And the crazy part? Sis was standing perfectly still and confident too, like her body had entered a ceasefire agreement with denim years ago. To each his own, Gia whispered respectfully. Couldn't be me though. Because, personally, Gia believed Cheeks deserved freedom, not conflict, not negotiations, certainly not floss-related conditions. But hey, if Flojo was happy, then God bless her and her circulation. A few blocks later, traffic started crawling again. Not accident crawling, not construction crawling, nah. This was Philadelphia summertime crawling. The kind where everybody suddenly forgot how to drive because somebody spotted ice cream. Gia stretched forward over the steering wheel and immediately saw the problem. Scoops was jumping. Line wrapped around the corner. People everywhere. Cars slowing down trying to peek for parking spaces like vultures circling fries. All this for ice cream? Gia laughed. All right, Scoops. Do what you do, boo-bop. The whole block looked alive. Music playing from somewhere. Kids running around sticky-faced. Couples outside pretending they wasn't arguing 5 minutes ago. Beautiful weather had everybody outside wearing confidence and synthetic fabric. And baby, Fashion Nova and Temu were working overtime today. Gia loved people watching bad because being good with numbers had accidentally turned her into a human receipt scam. Every outfit came with a mental price breakdown. Ooh, okay, sis, she murmured as one girl crossed the street. You giving about $12.99 altogether? Another group walked by. Wait, hold on. Them sandals definitely came from the 2 for $3 on the TikTok shop. A man in an aggressively tight shirt strutted past confidently. Ooh, that fabric fighting for breath, she whispered. But I respect the optimism. Then another girl floated by in a bright little summer dress and platform sandals. Now the outfit itself, cute, very cute. But in Gia's brain, automatically started calculating. Okay, Amazon sneakers. They had a coupon. That was $9.99. Dress probably $14 with the other coupon code and emotional support. Still, everybody looked happy. And honestly, that was the most important part. Summer did that to people. Soon as the weather hit 75 degrees, folks started acting like life forgave them personally. Outside became a runway. Everybody glowing. Everybody louder. Everybody trying to flirt, eat, dance, smoke, laugh, and heal. All at the same exact time. And Gia couldn't even hate on it because deep down she loved watching people enjoy themselves. Even if half the city was held together by edge control, Klarna payments, and hope. Then right on cue, like the universe itself had grabbed the aux cord, golden time of day drifted through the speakers. And baby, the whole world changed colors. Everything outside the windshield turned gold. The trees, the grass, the guardrails. Even the cows out in the distance looked cinematic, standing there chewing slowly like they paid taxes on peace and tranquility. The sun had started sinking low enough to soften everything. No harsh brightness anymore, just honey-colored light pouring through the road and stretching over the fields. Gia rolled the windows all the way down. This was that kind of evening. The kind that make you forgive life a little bit. The kind even ugly buildings start looking poetic. The breeze slid through the car while Frankie Beverly's voice wrapped around the atmosphere so perfectly it almost felt planned by God himself. Gia glanced out toward the open land as she drove past patches of nature tucked between the highway and city life. See? This right here, she whispered softly. This the part people miss because they moving too fast. The cow stood peacefully behind the fence, completely unbothered by rent, traffic, relationships, or merge lane stupidity. Honestly, they seemed happier than half the people online. The sunlight stretched across Gia's hands on the steering wheel, turning her skin warm bronze and amber while the music floated around her like memory. For a second, nothing hurt. Nothing rushed her. Nobody needed anything. No alarms, no stress, no loud kitchen tickets printing. Just road, music, wind, golden light. And one perfect little pocket of evening where everything felt exactly the way it was supposed to. As Gia kept driving through that golden evening light, something big drifted across the sky, slow enough to steal her attention clean away from the playlist. A blimp. Not just any blimp either. A Goodyear blimp. Flying low, too. Low enough she could actually read the lettering without squinting. Now, this was the second day in a row she'd seen this thing floating over the neighborhood like an oversized tire angel watching traffic signs from above. Gia blinked and looked through the windshield. Okay, now. Immediately, her brain started spiraling into theories. 'Cause why y'all here again in this neighborhood? The blimp floated peacefully across the sky, looking both majestic and suspicious at the same time. And honestly, it felt personal. Now, Gia knew good and well this was probably not a cosmic message directly from heaven. But also, she knew her tires were getting a little, which how can you say, faith-based? They're getting kind of smooth. So naturally, her first thought was, this not the gear for 'em, Lord. Even though I do need some tires. See, this how signs start. First, you casually noticing a Goodyear blimp. Next thing you know, your steering wheel vibrating at 70 miles per hour, sounding like a tambourine ministry. Gia shook her head, laughing to herself. But why is it so low, though? That was the real question. Where did blimps even come from? Where they park at? Do blimps have neighborhoods? Have people just stopped looking at the sky altogether? Because surely this giant floating tire advertisement couldn't just be sneaking around unnoticed. Have y'all even looked up today? Gia asked, aloud to nobody. Absolutely. Thank God. Thank you for sunshine and clear skies. The sunlight painted everything soft gold, while the blimp drifted slowly overhead like a lazy cloud with sponsorship money. And before y'all get online trying to fix everybody else's life, she continued thoughtfully, maybe get yourself right first. A little PSA from the expressway philosopher herself. The playlist hummed quietly in the background while Gia smiled to herself, one hand on the wheel, windows down, warm wind curling through the car. Anyway, she sighed happily. Love y'all like a play cousin. Then she hit the turn signal toward the store because peace was beautiful, but snacks still needed to be purchased. And just when Gia thought the playlist had already narrated her entire evening perfectly, the final song arrived like credits rolling across a movie screen. It Ain't Over Till It's Over by Lenny Kravitz. Now that, right there, that was timing. The kind of timing that makes you look around suspiciously like somebody secretly directing your life from a folding chair with a headset on. The song floated smooth through the speakers while Gia pulled into her neighborhood. The sky now dipped in orange and fading gold. Porch lights blinked on one by one. Kids slowly disappeared inside. Summer evenings settling down soft around the city. And somehow the song lasted the entire ride from the last light all the way to her first door. Every note, every lyric, like the universe wanted the scene to land properly. Gia parked the car and sat there for a second with the engine humming low beneath her. Bag still in the passenger seat, keys in her lap, music wrapping around the silence. Because truthfully, she didn't know what waited behind the front door. Would these next 2 days be peaceful? Would they be restful? Would she reset her mind and spirit? Or would Elijah have turned the kitchen into a federal investigation? Would there be joy, snacks, random Amazon packages she forgot she ordered, fussing and cussing? Nobody knew, not even Gia. But one thing was certain, it wasn't over until it was over. And judging by the way life usually acted around her, this story was probably just getting started.